Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Vivian and welcome to BOOKMAS. Today's video we will be talking about the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. I know that 2023 is still on, it's yet to end, but I do have a list of books I want to read next year and I am determined to keep it. Some of these books I do not own. I also won't be including releases that I'm anticipating in the year of 2024. Those books obviously I will get into, so I'm not including those. I'm including mostly books that have been released in 2023 or in the past few years. With that being said, let's get into this video. So the first two books that I have are a part of a series and I'm currently reading the first book of it, and I know that I want to get into this whole series, so that's why I'm including it in this video. I'm talking about Jade War and Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. My goal is to get this trilogy done, and right now I'm reading Jade City, but I know I won't be getting into either of these two books in December because I will be leaving in December and I probably won't be able to bring any of these books, so I'm including it in the 24 books I want to read in 2024. With this trilogy, you follow two rival clans in this city called Janloon in the country of Kekoa. Jade is traded, stolen, and only a few people can use jade. If you have the genetic sensitivity to it, you are able to use jade. If not, you will have the itches that cause you to basically scratch yourself to death. One day these clans discovered that there's been a drug going on in the country that allows other people who do not have the genes to control jade to actually use them. Jade basically makes them stronger, but it's also a drug, so if you use too much of it and you stop using jade, you get withdrawals. I really want to finish them. I've heard that it gets better and better, so I am excited to read this. Now we have two books that I do not own the physical copies of. There will be books that I do not own the copies of either because I cannot find them here and I need to get them overseas, or they have yet to be released traditionally. The ones I'm talking about is Saving 6 and Redeeming 6. Now this one, it is out, it is released, but I have yet to grab them, so I don't have the physical copies. And if you guys can see from behind, I did read Binding and Keeping 13. I absolutely enjoyed those two books. They are my absolute 5-star reads. I love them to bits. You follow Joey, who is the brother of the female main character in these two books, and I heard that's even more painful of a story, and I'm excited to get into it. It's kind of like sports romance, but Joey is not a rugby player. He does something else. The whole setting is in Ireland, so there's Irish sports in here that I'm not familiar with, but in general, I love the story. There's a lot of found family in this. The romance is amazing. And yeah, I'm excited to get into these two books. The next one I want to talk about is another duology, Debutante's duology by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. We have Little White Lies and Deadly Little Scandals. I have been slowly getting through Jennifer Lynn Barnes' backlist. I just recently read The Naturals and I really loved it, so that's why I grabbed these two books. They were also on sale, so I bought them for really cheap, you guys. I think one book was less than $2. Really cheap, that's why I bought them. I don't know what this is about, but I think it's something to do with debutantes, this secret society and all that. I think it's a little bit different than the other two series that she wrote, but I'm excited to get into these. I don't think I'll get into it anyway this year. I have so many books I want to read this year and I just don't think I'll get into this. Next, these books I do not own. We have Abby Jimenez's books. First one is Yours Truly. I know you follow an anxious MMC and they both work in the doctoral field. I know the book has been released, but I don't own the physical copies. I just don't have it in my country, so I need to go overseas to actually buy them. But I am excited to get into this because I love Abby Jimenez's writing and I really want to read this. I know a lot of people really like it. I'm so sad that I've yet to read it. And then the other Abby Jimenez book is Life's Too Short. This is a part of an interconnected standalone series. The first one is The Friend Zone. The second one is the Happy Ever After playlist. I just want to complete it. I don't know if it's good or not. I didn't really like The Friend Zone, but I did enjoy the Happy Ever After playlist. Hopefully we will enjoy this, but I do love Abby Jimenez's writing and I do really like her storytelling, so I think I'm gonna enjoy it. The next book are also a part of an interconnected standalone series, and I'm talking about When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect. I do not own When in Rome, but I do own Practice Makes Perfect. When in Rome literally exploded and I cannot find it anywhere in my country, but this book I've not heard great things about, which is why it's still available. But I did end up buying When in Rome online. I found an indie bookstore that has it, but it has yet to arrive at my place, so that's why I don't have it. For When in Rome, you follow an artist who wants to get out of the limelight, so she escapes to Rome, Kentucky. And in Practice Makes Perfect, you follow the sister of the male main character in When in Rome and the bodyguard of the female main character in When in Rome. I don't know why this one had mixed reviews and When in Rome had glowing reviews, but I'm excited to find out. So next we have a duology, One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. I know both books are out. I cannot find them in my country, and I also do not have time to read this year, so that's why this will be an anticipated read of 2024. Sorry about that, I didn't realize my battery died. I believe I was talking about the One Dark Window duology. I've heard that it is a gothic romance, and I've heard a lot of people talk great things about this book, so I would love to get into it. I would love to see what the hype is about. I think it follows a female main character who, when she was young, she has this power and she's supposed to be killed, but the family hid her, and so she had this power kind of brewing in her. That's all I know about this book. I have a feeling I will actually enjoy it, so I'm excited to get into it. This book I also don't have the physical copies of, and I'm talking about A Court This Cruel and Lovely. This is an indie published book, but I've heard that it's going to be traditionally published, so I'm just waiting for it to be traditionally published. And this is a 4-book series, and I really want to get into it. I've heard great things on TikTok about this book, and I think the premise of this is going to be amazing. It's a fantasy romance. It's by the author Stasia Stark, by the way, and I've seen snippets of the book, and I think I'm gonna like the writing. I really think that a lot of people don't know about this book, so if you guys want to check it out, please do so. Next, I have Collide by Bala Cabral. It's an indie published book, so I need to get it overseas once again. And this one is a hockey romance. I don't know specifics of this book. So sorry, you guys. I literally do not do any research about these books, but I just really like the cover for this one. I love the designer who did this cover because she does the covers for Icebreaker and Wildfire and Daydream. This is kind of dumb, but I went to her profile and I saw her do the cover for this one, and that's why I really wanted to buy this book. I love sports romance books, so I think I will like it. Next, we have Butcher and Blackbird. I know this one is and has been released, but it recently got picked up by a publisher, I think, and so it's going to be traditionally published, and so I'm just waiting for it to be traditionally published so that it's easier for me to get my hands on. I know this follows 2 assassins works together to do something. Don't know the specifics once again, but lots of good reviews, which is why I want to get into it. And also, this is going to be a part of an interconnected standalone series, I think, or is it a series? I'm not really too sure. This gives me the Mind series vibes, and hopefully it does because I love the Mindbug series. So yeah, that is Butcher and Blackbird. The next one I have the physical copy of, One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. So I picked this up August or September, and I've never gotten into it. I don't know why. I really want to get into an Olivia Blake book, and I've heard great things about this one. This is a fantasy standalone. It follows 2 rival witch clans. I think it's more like found family instead of romance, although I do know there's romance in this. I wanted to read this for my fall TBR, but I didn't end up getting into it because I am terrified. You ask me why I'm terrified? I have no idea. I've just heard a lot of people say and have mixed reviews about Olivia Blake's writing, and that's why I'm a little bit terrified of getting to this, but I think I'm gonna like it. I love the fact that there are art inside the book, like literally beautiful art. Look at that. Amazing. Next, we have Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. So I read Out on a Limb by her this year. Really liked that book, and apparently she has another series, Next of Kin and something else, but Next of Kin I saw also got picked up by a publisher, which is why I'm waiting for that one to just get traditionally published. I know it's something to do with foster care. Maybe I will like it, maybe I won't, but I want to try another book by Hannah Bonham Young. Next, we have 2 books as parts of a series, and now these 2 books technically have been released, but the traditionally published version is not out yet. I'm talking about Long Way Down and Fuel the Fire, which is a part of the Addicted series. And I have not read Thrive and Addicted After All, but I am planning on getting those 2 read by the end of this year. And so I want to read the next 2 books next year because those 2 books will be released traditionally next year, I think. So I'm just waiting for that to be released and I'll get them and I'll read them. But I really want to get the Addicted series finished. I've heard that you don't really need to read Some Kind of Perfect because that's like a very long epilogue novel about all the characters. So I'm not gonna include that book inside. I don't know if I want to get into that in 2024. I love Rose and Connor. Kiss the Sky is a 5-star book for me, and so I am excited, freaking excited for Fuel the Fire. I think it's gonna be bomb, and obviously I love Razy too. I just love the Calloway Sisters series so much more than like the original Addicted series. These next few books I do have physical copies of, so let's begin. First one, my most intimidating read right now is this one, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I recently finished reading Warbreaker, and so I do want to get into another one of his series, but this is a trilogy. It's the Mistborn Saga or something. There's a lot more books in this, but I know the main one is 3 books, so a trilogy it is. I don't know what it's about, to be frank. I know it's something to do with wielding metal. I just feel like Brandon Sanderson is a true fantasy writer, and I am terrified, intimidated, absolutely scared. I'm not even gonna include the next 2 books because I don't know if I'm gonna get that done, but this one I need to read next year. Like, I cannot put it off any longer. I will read it. The next book I have is also part of a fantasy series, and I'm talking about This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. Only 2 books are out. The others are not out yet, but I do want to get into the series next year. I just don't think I have time to get into a series this year, which is why I'm putting this in the next year category. I have read Shatter Me, and I didn't like that book. I rated it 2 stars. For all Shatter Me fans, I'm really sorry. It's not for me, I guess. It's too YA, and so I want to give this a chance. Maybe she has improved her writing ever since. Eliza is a servant, but she's actually the long lost heir to the Jinn Kingdom, and she ends up working for the Crown Prince Cameron. I think it's Enemies to Lovers. The next book I have is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I've been putting this off because this is a duology. The second book is called A Fire Endless, and I know it's out, but I have not gotten into the book. Keeping myself accountable by putting this in my 24 books that I want to read in 2024. I gotta read this, you guys. I bought this, I think, in March or something. This has been on my TBR for a very long time. I don't know what it's about. It's about girls start going missing in this country. Adara, the heiress, needs to figure out how to save the girls, so she gets help from her childhood enemy called Jack Tamerlane. I've heard it has folklore vibes. She's the one who wrote Divine Rivals, by the way. The next fantasy series I want to get into is A Fate of Wrath and Flame by K.A. Tucker. Not a completed series, which is why I'm a bit iffy about getting into this. If you guys don't know who K.A. Tucker is, I think she wrote A Simple Wild or something like that. It's a romance series, but I've heard the fantasy fans who have read this book actually liked it, so I want to get into it. I don't know what it's about. Gifted thief Ramiria steals jewels under a notorious New York City crime boss, but when an enigmatic woman secures her services at Sword Point, Ramiria is wrenched from this world and transported into a realm of opposing thrones, wearing elven societies and elemental magic. Waking up in the body of a treacherous elven princess, Ramiria quickly realizes she's entangled in a deadly plot and must hide her identity at all costs. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. I do not own the last book I want to read, and it's Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I own the 2 books. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's up here somewhere, like higher up there. Never mind, you guys can see it. But the first book is Illuminae, the second book is Gemina. It's a part of a trilogy called the Illuminae Files. Now, I read those 2 sci-fi books, I think in 2015 or 2016, and I have not read the last one. The problem is I own hardcovers for the 2 books. I do not own a hardcover for the 3rd book, and I cannot find it anywhere, so I need to buy it overseas, which is why I'm putting it off, and which is why I want to read it after I get the physical copy, which is next year. And that's why it's going to be a 2024 read. I put it off because I stopped reading when I was in college until 2020, and that's when I found my love for reading. And so I just want to finish the trilogy. Anyway, that is my 24 books that I want to read in 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and you guys got some recommendations on what books you can read next year or maybe in this month of December. Once again, I do know 2023 has not ended. Technically for me it has, because I will be gone for the majority of December. Literally gone. Not gonna be here, not gonna read a lot of books. I am going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It will mean a lot to me. If you guys follow my BOOKMAS journey, you will get a video tomorrow. Turn on post notifications, get a lookout for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!